And while you were gone, I'm gonna step back, your breath's a little rough. Regardless of what you think about me, I did pretty well for myself. 12 years consistently in this ring before this injury. And what did I do? I main evented everywhere. I won titles. I became Universal Champion. Here's a good one. Something you'll never get to do. I main evented WrestleMania against Stone Cold Steve Austin.
You did. Man, you really did, didn't you? Congratulations. I was happy for you then. I'm happy for you now, but
That's
you
not
honestly
true.
think you would have been afforded those opportunities if I was still here? Like I wouldn't have been picked before you?
Clearly, you think that. So tell everyone why. Just do it finally. We're face to face. Stand a foot away from me and tell me why you think I wouldn't have gotten those opportunities. Huh? Because it's the same thing you thought 20 years ago, isn't it? What am I, huh? Just some fat indie slob? A fan who's on the wrong side of the guardrail? Just say it to my face.
So that's a wrestling audio clip at the top of the show from last week's SmackDown. And I really want to stay on point with this show. I really did want to stay on point with the show, shall I say, because I wanted to keep it mainly about SmackDown, mainly about Raw. It does seem like the WWE are moving in the right direction. I need to catch up with AEW because I'm going to an AEW show at Wembley. I'm going to All In with a group of mates as I do every year. So I need to keep up with AEW and see what they're doing. But WWE definitely moving in the right direction. The Punk and Owen stuff, very, very good. The crowds haven't quite responded to it, but I have a different take on that. I think the crowds aren't responding to it with oohs and ahs and chants and trying to be the centre of attention because I think they're distracted by what's actually going on in the ring. I think they are just uber focused on what's being said. And because what's being said is the most intriguing stuff that we have heard said between two wrestlers to each other all year long, I think that's why the crowd are quiet. I don't think it's a case of it's lost on them or they're not interested. I just think Punk and Owens are cutting really good promos on each other. They expanded on last week where Wade Barrett said the previous week, these two have personal issues that we're not allowed to talk about. Well, a week later, they just spoke about them in the middle of the ring. So I don't know what that was about the week before. I guess it was building towards the issues coming out. But this certainly doesn't feel like it's going to end this Friday on SmackDown. So that's good. There's some good women's stuff at the moment with Liv tied in with Stephanie and Becky. Judgment Day stuff usually I find pretty bad. And I would just like Liv to break away. And I think Dominic should be booked better. And I think the rest of them are just there for the sake of it. But the Liv stuff for her belt is better. It's much better than anything that she's done prior to this. The Io Sky stuff was very underwhelming, which is why I was certain that Liv was going to come away with her championship. We had 2 title changes on SmackDown that I forgot to mention. Jacy Jane finally getting the push. She got a massive reaction. Toxic Influence got a massive reaction when they came on to the Fatal Influence. I just mixed Toxic Attraction and Fatal Influence and just called them Toxic Influence, which probably is a better name. But yeah, Fatal Influence were massively over, got a big heel response when they came onto the main roster, and they've done nothing with them. Now they have all of the championships, although it was a botched finish. Chelsea was involved in it, so I wonder if Tiffany's going to be turning heel and they'll take that belt off Chelsea, which I said was never going to be what people thought it was going to be or what they wanted it to be. It was always going to be short term. Either Rhea was going to come in and squash her, or now Tiffany will take it and that will progress on to Tiffany versus Rhea, I think. But yeah, she hit the punch and couldn't make the pin straight away. It was a little bit botched with the pinfall. And then the ring announcer forgot what title that Jacy Jane had just won. He had a tag team title change as well on SmackDown. SmackDown was good. It's been better than Raw. But Raw last night was incredible with that match between Ray and Gable. Although I'll talk more about that match and Gable later on. The stuff with Bron Breakker and Obafemi, really good. And the Bloodline stuff at the end, incredible, making Conrad Thompson look like an even bigger dickhead than I said he was last week. But as I was saying, I wanted to keep this about wrestling. Last week I did the whole thing where Conrad Thompson, I spoke about him being a dickhead. I spoke about Eric Bischoff being a dickhead. Spoke about Russo being a dickhead and a clown. Spoke about Coachman being a dickhead and a clown. So I wanted just to do a wrestling show. SmackDown's good. Raw was even better. Let's just talk about that. But then shit just lands on your lap and you have to address it, such as CM Punk on social media this week. And it all came about from something that has almost been normalised. And that is CM Punk in a picture with more young girls. This time it was Fatal Influence with their belts. And of course, Phil had to jump in there while the wife's away. Phil will play. And he jumped in there because he can't resist an opportunity to take some photos with young girls. Now, listen, I'm all for it, right? If it was a different situation, I'm all for it. But it's very different when it comes to CM Punk, when it comes to Phil Brooks. And as I always say, you can't spell paedophile without Phil. And that seems to be what we're seeing here constantly when it comes to Phil Brooks, aka CM Punk. From the very beginning, when he returned, I was going to a lot of WWE shows then with my son, and constantly you saw him round the girls, and particularly young girls with Roxanne and Cora Jade, and he would be walking around the hotels with them. They'd be in and out of each other's rooms. I mean, he was just like one of the girls. It was pretty fucking weird to watch, particularly because this guy is married. So let me differentiate things here for you. Now, I am in my early 40s, so I'm younger than Punk, but I'm still in my 40s. And if you gave me the opportunity to be around and to potentially fuck young girls in their 20s, hot girls on the roster, I would be all over it. Anybody would. Like, if you're a 40-year-old guy and you can fuck these 20-year-olds and they're interested in you and you can make it work, then go for it. You're a fucking hero as far as I'm concerned. I have no issue with that side of things at all.
And we have some legends now walking around. Thank you, right?
Come on, baby.
Hop on your lap.
That's going to be a cut for sure.
It's not allowed to be a cut. Razor Ramon totally hugged me. Yes!
So that was from a WrestleMania 31 documentary. That was Scott Hall asking Paige to jump on his lap. And Shawn Michaels said that's going to be a cut for sure. It wasn't. It made it into the documentary. We all know what we saw from Paige after that. And we all know the type of guy that Scott Hall was. So what's the difference between that and CM Punk? Well, it's because Scott Hall has always had some type of aura about it. It's always been a part of his aura. You always knew what you were going to get with Scott Hall, and he was upfront about it. That's what Scott Hall will do. That's what any normal guy would do. I've seen Stone Cold Steve Austin in a hotel in Detroit in 2007 go upstairs to his room, fuck a groupie, send her back downstairs, and he comes down 5 minutes later and goes straight back to the bar. I've seen all that shit. This is what wrestlers do. They fuck rats, and if they can fuck those inside the business now, considering that we have so many more female wrestlers, and a lot of them are, you know, very hot to look at, then why wouldn't you? Why wouldn't you do it? Doesn't matter what age you are. There's nothing illegal about it. If they're over 18 or what? Sorry, the age in the US, it's state by state, isn't it? So here in the UK, it's the age of consent is 16. In the US, it varies. It can be between 14 and 21. But my point is, if it's legal, it's not doing anybody any harm. But CM Punk isn't an upfront cunt. He probably was before, back during his first run when he was just ploughing through the divas, and he got respect for that. He got a pat on the back for that. He didn't do it in this seedy, creepy, uncle, I'm your daddy kind of way that he does it right now. He's also married to AJ Lee, and he goes on and on about his wife, and he uses her for sympathy, and he uses her to show what a good guy he is and what a great couple they are and how much they love their dog that's now fucking dead. And you can see all that on Unreal. They are absolutely fucking insufferable. It's the worst part of Unreal. You just want to fucking throw the remote control through the fucking TV anytime these two insufferable cunts are on. They deserve each other. They're as insufferable as each other. But he constantly talks about her and how much she means to him, etc., blah, blah, blah. But then they both tie themselves to these women in NXT. Punk in particular, because he's there a lot more than AJ, because AJ only had a short run, thank God. But obviously she's around Bayley and she's around Roxanne and Cora Jade and others. And Punk's just around everybody. And he's got a massive thing for Rhea Ripley. You can see it in Unreal that he's just dying to get his cock in Rhea Ripley if he hasn't already. But just be upfront about it. I want to get my fucking cock in Rhea Ripley, and I'll tell you about it. I want to get my cock in fucking JC Jane and Liv Morgan. I'll just tell you about it. And if I was on the main roster, it doesn't matter if I'm fucking 25 or 55, I would be trying to plow through these women. The difference is that I don't fucking talk about my wife 24/7. The difference is that I don't go about it in this kind of shady uncle way where you turn around and say, I'm your work dad. I'm your work dad. I'm your work dad. I'm your work dad. I'm not trying to be your work daddy. I'm just trying to get in your knickers. There's actually something more upfront and noble about that in terms of what I'm saying and how someone like a Scott Hall or a Stone Cold Steve Austin, let's say, would approach it. But CM Punk is doing it in this dirty, seedy uncle way. He's like, oh, hey, I'm your uncle. I'm your daddy. I'm your work dad. I'll help you out. And then trying to be this fake kind of mentor when we really know that CM Punk is trying to do what he's trying to do, because you never fucking see this guy mentoring any of the fucking young guys. Because I'm pretty sure that a mentor, if he was genuinely a mentor, wouldn't just handpick going after all of the attractive women on the roster. Like, does he think that we are fucking retards? I mean, some people are. Wrestling fans are notoriously retarded in most cases, but surely the smarter ones who are listening to this, because if you're listening to me, you're smarter than the others, surely they see through what this slimy fucking dirtbag is doing. But the whole thing is just weird. I'll be your work dad, but I don't actually have any kids. I've been with my wife since 2014. So they've been together for 12 years and they don't have any kids, but we will adopt a dog and pretend that the dog's our kid. And then we'll go back to the WWE and we'll pretend that we're mummy and daddy to these young NXT girls and the young girls in the roster. And Punk will exclusively pop up in photos with Rhea, with Liv Morgan, with Jackie, the backstage announcer, and with Fatal Influence. I mean, who can fucking blame him? But just be the upfront cunt. Just leave your wife. Or I don't even care if you cheat on your wife. I don't give a fuck about that. The point is don't be this whole seedy uncle mentor. I'm your fucking daddy. It's just so fucking weird and creepy and it's hypocritical. And it just sums up CM Punk. The guy is just a fucking lying, hypocritical dirtbag. There is nothing fucking real about anything when it comes to CM Punk. Everything he says is a lie. Go suck a blood money dick. I'll go suck a blood money dick if you pay me right, because I'm a fucking sellout with zero morals, zero principles. Everything about me is for sale. Everything that I do is to suit CM Punk. I'll love my wife because it'll make you like me more. I'll tell you what a great guy I am, and I'll stand out for this documentary. I'll do a whole episode about how much I love my wife and how much I love my adopted dog and how sad I am when my ugly fucking dog dies. I'll do everything like that for the cameras, but when the cameras are off, I'll be an absolute fucking cunt to little kids. Because I hate kids, which is why I don't have any kids. But hey, I'll be the work daddy to these young girls that I want to stick my fucking cock in.
Tell me when I'm telling lies.
You tell me when I'm telling lies, because Pedophile has tried to sue me before unsuccessfully, and I should maybe be more careful about going after him again. But fuck it, he failed. He failed again because I am not telling lies. Tell me where the lie is. Is he married to AJ Lee? Yes. Does she look like a little girl? Yes. Do they have any children? No. Does he say how much he loves her all of the time and how much they need each other? How she's his everything? Yes. Yet they only have a little dog who's now dead, by the way. That meant everything to them. They don't have any children. Why don't they have any children? Obviously, they don't like kids. Yet they'll come onto this roster and they'll say, "You're our kids, little girls." And it is only the girls. It isn't any of the young guys. I didn't see CM Punk mentoring Oba. I don't see him currently mentoring Grayson Waller or Zilla Fatu. It is just the girls. He'll be the work daddy and she'll be the mummy of all of the girls. And especially when she's away, Punk is in and around the fucking hotel rooms with them, having dinners with them, having drinks with them, jumping into their fucking photo shoots, lusting after fucking Rhea Ripley, not even hiding it, doing it right there on Unreal. Just imagine what goes on when the cameras are off. Just imagine what's in those text messages that Rhea Ripley doesn't fucking reply to, which we picked up on Unreal. Tell me when I'm telling lies. Like I said, there's no issue if you're 45, 55 or 65. If you want to get your fucking dick wet and you want to fuck a 20-year-old girl, go for it. I'm still trying to do that right now and I don't give a fuck. But don't then go about it in a roundabout way where you love your wife and you love your dog, but you turn around and say, these are our work daughters. These are our work daughters. You know nothing about being a dad because you don't have any children. You don't get to be the work dad of these girls. Work dad of none of the guys, only the girls, and then jumping around in their photo shoots, hanging around them backstage like some greasy, sleazy, yellow-toothed uncle. It's just fucking gross. The whole approach is gross. And I can tell you, this can only come from the fact that when you compare him to someone like Scott Hall, I imagine Scott Hall from his days when he was bodybuilding and then when he was a bouncer and he got into wrestling, he was always fucking women. He always probably had women after him and had his pick of the women, had the groupies, whatever. I know like with the wrestlers, it's not always fucking tens, as Ric Flair says. But, you know, for Hall, it would have been solid 7s, 8s, 9s, 10s on a good night, and he wouldn't have had an issue with it. CM Punk was a little fucking emo loser geek. He probably didn't lose his fucking virginity till he was like 22, 23 years old, unless he lost it to some fat fucking emo chick with a stinky fishy pussy. Like he wouldn't have got laid. And suddenly he gets a little bit of fame and he can fucking shag a couple of fucking groupies on the indies. But then you get to WWE, it's a whole different level. Suddenly, your fantasy wank, Lita, can become your girlfriend. You can fucking fuck Maria and Kelly. You can suddenly get all of these women and the groupies on the side for the first time in your life. But you don't know how to go about it. You only know how to get laid by being CM Punk. You have to use CM Punk and the fame that you inherited from the WWE. You actually have no game. You actually have no way to go about it. You don't know how to actually approach women or how to become wanted by women, something that women would desire. So you just use your name. You just use this CM Punk thing that was given to you, this character that was created. You use the character and the fame that has been attached to it in order to get laid. And that's the only thing this guy can do. I think that's what it is. I don't think he knows how to talk to a woman unless a woman knows that he's CM Punk. Because why would they? This is a fucking ugly ass guy with fucking... I mean, he had a terrible body before he got on the fucking steroids and the testosterone, which is clearly what he's fucking doing, because there's no way he suddenly got in shape when he's never fucking been in shape for 20 years. I have looked better than this guy for 20 years, other than for about 18 months when I fucking broke my leg and then had to get back in shape, had to lose like probably about 25 pounds, whatever. That was the only time. Otherwise, I've consistently been in better shape than this skinny fat piece of shit. So he didn't have the body. He's not exactly a good looking guy. He looks even worse now with those fucking awful eye bags that he's always had and those fucking disgusting yellow teeth. And I bet his breath really does fucking smell of shit. Like Kevin Owens said it and Eddie Kingston said it. And I didn't even know if it was in the script. I probably think that his mouth does fucking smell of arse. or piss or whatever else. I mean, which is crazy because he's not one of these people who smokes weed. I mean, unless he does now. I mean, once you start doing one drug, you might as well do the fucking rest. And we know this guy is pumping himself full of fucking retatrutide and tren and testosterone and whatever else he can get his fucking hands on to get in shape for the first time in his fucking life. And then he has the audacity, this fucking cunt has the audacity to stand there and tell Kevin Owens that he's lazy because he didn't get in shape. Look, Owens is lazy. It's unacceptable for Owens to come back in that shape. It's even more unacceptable to look like fucking Eddie Kingston. If you see Eddie Kingston in AEW, that is one fucking fat piece of shit. That is one fucking loser who should not be on TV. Eddie Kingston is an embarrassment. And any wrestling fan that supports him and turns around and say, oh, it doesn't matter, you can't body shame them. It's part of the fucking job. It's as important as the matches and the promos is your fucking diet and your body. You need to train. You need to eat right. It's part of the job. It's 33% of the job. In fact, when you look at the fact that these guys have to go around and do media work and they have to represent WWE from the moment they touch down and walk through a fucking airport, it's probably more than 33% of the job. And Eddie Kingston should have been fucking fired by Tony Khan as soon as you walked in with that fucking body. And it's not acceptable either. I'm not going to give Kevin Owens an excuse and say that he should have come back in that shape either, because that wasn't great either. So it's not acceptable. But getting back to my point, Owens and Kingston, he got on both of them about their weight. They got on him about his breath. I bet this guy's breath fucking smells of shit because his teeth have never been white in his fucking life. So it's no secret I fucking hate CM Punk. But there are reasons behind it, and this is one of them. He's a disingenuous fucking cunt. And if you meet him, you'll know even more what a disingenuous, horrible piece of shit, horrible cunt this guy is. I can't stand watching him on TV. It even pains me to say that he's doing good work right now in this program, but he always needs somebody to play off. I mean, most of the time you do in wrestling, but it's Kevin Owens who's the A side of this. Just like it was Drew McIntyre who's the A side of it against Punk as well. Everybody either is saving themselves for the CM Punk feud, or they're just outperforming him because CM Punk's lost the step. I'll give him some credit and say he has a reputation for being red hot on the mic. I think in certain situations, other guys bring their best stuff. And Roman Reigns brought some really good stuff to Punk in the build-up to 42. Seth Rollins did his best work on the mic leading up to WrestleMania 41 when he did the Tell Me When I'm Telling Lies promo about Punk. That was the best thing Seth had done. McIntyre's best work was coming against Punk. Owens is doing great work now. MJF was unbelievable in AEW to the point where he actually fucking fried Punk every single week. So I will give Punk credit. He's got a reputation for being good on the mic, and others are quite clearly elevating their game, and they're doing it successfully because they are winning these promo battles. Punk has come out second to MJF, Rollins, Reigns, McIntyre, and now Kevin Owens as well. So let's get off this guy. I don't want to talk about him anymore. I wanted to jump into some of the wrestling stuff, but there's another moron I need to go after again this week, and I spoke about him last week, and that's fucking Vince Russo. And Vince Russo has put this story out this week saying that he was told, I was told, bro. I was told by somebody. I was told by one of the boys, bro. You ain't told by nobody. Nobody is talking to Vince Russo. Apparently one of the boys, nobody talks to him. Apparently one of the boys told him that Triple H hates LA Knight, and they laugh about LA Knight, and LA Knight's never going to be the champion. They might laugh about LA Knight, Triple H might hate LA Knight, and LA Knight might not ever be the champion, but nobody fucking said that to Vince Russo, because nobody talks to Vince Russo. If anybody spoke to Vince Russo, explain this to me. If anybody spoke to Vince Russo, how I got onto Russo's show was I broke a story, and somehow it ended up on Disco Inferno's radar, and it ended up on Vince's show, and they were mocking the name of the website, the Dirty Sheets, and they were mocking me and how they'd never heard of me, and I responded to them. or my listeners actually reached out to me. My listeners responded to them, and then I responded to them personally about who I was and how I got the story. They then had me on their show. They were convinced by how I got my news and the stories that I'd broken previously via the links and things that I'd sent to Russo in his email, and he immediately gave me a job. He immediately gave me a job and a show which he called the Nitty Gritty Dirt Show. Now, do you give a stranger from fucking England a job off the back of one email where I defended myself, one invitation onto the show? So basically, you're talking about 3 paragraphs and a 15-minute appearance, and suddenly he's sold. He needs me on his show. He's going to give me an entire show of my own, 45 minutes a week, Nitty Gritty Dirt Show. You're my dirt sheet guy. You've got the real news. You're going to be the one who brings this to my network because ain't no motherfucker in the WWE talking to me, because I have been blacklisted since 2002. It's now 2026. For 24 years, no cunt working in the WWE has said jack fucking shit to Vince Russo. So how the fuck is anybody telling him what Triple H thinks of LA Knight? It is fucking bullshit. It is what the Coach and Bro show is. 2 fucking blacklisted has-beens who are never going to get back into wrestling, but would jump at the chance to get back into wrestling. They would literally abandon the other one in a second to take the chance to get back into wrestling, but they never will. So now they're desperately clutching at straws. They're trying to monetize this content, and the way to get people to listen to it so that you can monetize it is to come up with lies and to pretend week by week. Last week it was Coach, oh, I got told this, and this week it's Russo, I got told that. Neither of you motherfuckers got told shit. That's 2 fucking bullshit stories. The first one being about Braun Breaker and Logan Paul. The second one this week being about Russo being told what Triple H thinks of LA Knight. You don't fucking know anything. The only communication that Russo's had with Triple H is constantly emailing him for a job and Triple H not even opening it. That's the communication between Russo and Triple H. That's as close as it's come. And I'm pretty sure that fucking Russo probably sends that email every 2 weeks and has done since 2002. He's a fucking clown. And Coachman is going in that direction as well. So let's now talk about some of the fucking stories. And again, we've left ourselves short. I spoke about SmackDown, spoke about the 2 title changes. It's odd to do that on a show, really, because when you have Saturday night's main event, when you have all of these PLEs, I can understand doing a title change here and now. But to do 2 in one night, and they did them in back-to-back matches as well. They changed the tag belts, and in the next match, you had JC Jane beating Tiffany for the championship. The final segment was Cody Rhodes being beaten up by Randy Orton. So it was very odd not to save one of those for the following week, but this has been a trademark of Triple H. He has been hot potatoing these belts all over the place. What the fuck did Priest and Truth do with the tag belts? Nothing. What did Tiffany do with the US Championship? Nothing. Nobody is doing anything with these belts. Nobody is being elevated by these title reigns. Penta recently lost the Intercontinental Championship to Chad Gable. Other than one ladder match, Penta did nothing with that Intercontinental Championship either. Trick Williams did nothing with the US belt, and Baron Corbin will do nothing with the US belt either. So these belts are becoming a complete waste of time. I mean, Triple H, maybe he is responding to Russo's emails because he's certainly starting to book like him. He's certainly trying to emulate him in some type of way with this hot shot title change booking, making the titles mean less than ever, which was a Vince Russo trademark, and now it's becoming a Triple H one. So that would be the main criticism that I have. I don't criticize specifically with any of the title changes. I think getting off Tiffany's good because Tiffany wasn't doing anything with it. I always thought it was going to be ending up on Blake Monroe, but it's gone to JCJ. I'm a fan of Fatal Influence, so JC's fine. And Haku coming in and managing his sons. They had to win the belts. The MFTs had to fucking win the belts. Maybe not in that three-way. I think in that situation, the champions could have retained by pinning the War Raiders, and that would have given the MFTs the chance to say, well, you didn't beat us. And then they could have set up their one-on-one match later on down the line. But they've done the title change. You've capitalised on bringing Haku. Obviously, you needed to get the belts to show, yes, Haku is here and he has made us stronger, and that's evidenced by the fact that we are the tag team champions. So that was the correct thing to do. No issue with the title changes. I just have issues with the number of title changes we have, and when the champions who lose the belts have had no impact during their runs. Chad Gable, as I mentioned, is now the Intercontinental Champion. He beat Penta. He had a really good match with Ray yesterday on Raw. But the whole Chad Gable push is just so fucking weird. It's going to be really, really difficult to get this thing over. Now, he is a super white meat babyface. His whole thing is he's on a fucking apology tour. Like, what the fuck is that? Like, his whole push is, I'm on an apology tour. He has the worst music I think I've heard in wrestling. Like, that fucking theme tune is awful. But that's what he's coming out to. Some generic rock song and with lyrics. And he did make a good title defense yesterday, but it's like, oh, I'm sorry. Have a title shot because I'm sorry. Now, if you look at the past, maybe if you look at champions like Sting, Hulk Hogan, maybe fast forward a bit, John Cena. Now, if they had friendships, right, and they would defend their titles against their friends. I mean, it was once Bret Hart defended it against Bob Backlund. I think that's a better example because how I would book it is what actually happened. So Bret Hart defended a belt against Bob Backlund, and he lost. And it was a goody-goody match, and they were friends, and Bret often had title defenses against friends because he was the fightingest champion ever. It was a small roster, so he had to beat babyfaces, and he did. He beat Virgil, he beat 1, 2, 3 Kid, he beat Bob Backlund. So he beats Backlund, and then Backlund turns on Bret and puts him in a fucking chicken wing and doesn't let go, right? So eventually, that's how you do this. If you turn around and say, oh, I'm sorry, I'm going to give title shots to all of my friends, eventually the story is one of your friends turns on you or you turn on them. This just doesn't seem to be going anywhere. Like, because if we do have Chad Gable turning, right, then we're back into Chad Gable versus the fucking mask people. But if we have the mask people turning on them, we then have a masked heel, which is not normally what we have. Because Rey Mysterio's never been a heel, and it's not often that these luchadors are. And ultimately, even though it was the best match on the show, it kind of gets lost in the shuffle when every single fucking week we're having masked guy number 1 facing masked guy number 2. Like, how the fuck does this promotion even exist? Because all you have is a bunch of fucking Mexicans with different coloured masks. You can't even identify them, you know, other than by their names, but they just basically all look the fucking same. They've all got the same fucking moveset. And at the end of all of this fucking bullshit, when it's all said and done, somebody in a fucking colourful mask is going to get beaten by Roman Reigns. That's what we're doing here. We're doing Mask 1 versus Mask 2, Mask 3 versus Mask 4, Mask 5 versus Mask 6, and eventually somebody with a mask, I guarantee you, is going to win this tournament, and they are going to get beaten by Roman Reigns, probably Penta. All of this to get to that. And then you stick another masked guy on the show in Rey Mysterio, and he loses to Chad Gable. As I said, great match, but the mask stuff on Raw is just dead. Like, it's just, I understand the matches are good, and if you're there live, I guess it's great to have your mask v mask match for that night. But on TV, we're seeing it every fucking week. And if you're doing a tournament, right? If you're doing a tournament starting with the quarterfinals, we're going to get 7 of these identical matches between guys in masks, leading to one of them being beaten by Roman Reigns. It's a fucking waste of time, which is, you know, probably for me the most pointless part of Raw at the moment. But as I said, I'm not going to knock it too much. Raw overall was good. The beginning with the women was good. I love the stuff with Oba and Bron Breakker. I think you got to get Bron Breakker over here. I think Bron Breakker has to win. I can see him winning as well because it's on Sunday night's main event. I can see Heyman deciding to go with Bron Breakker. I can actually see Heyman deciding to go with Bronson Reed. Bronson Reed looks like he's ready to come back, as you can see from Instagram. And I think we might be heading towards Obafemi and Bronson Reed. And I think we might be heading towards one hell of a fucking spot where Obafemi manages to get fucking Bronson Reed up for a powerbomb. And that's a lot more possible now because Bronson Reed looks like he's lost maybe 30, 40 pounds. So I think that's where we're going with this. And then maybe we'll circle back round to Bron Breakker and Obafemi will get his win back. Or maybe this could be something that you do where Obafemi loses that title shot because he loses it to Bron Breakker. But I've noticed they're just not fucking talking about it. That is Triple H booking to a T. They are just not going to talk about it. Let's pretend it never happened. He's the king of the ring, but the title shot bit, we didn't say that. But you did. No, we didn't. Why did Io Sky get a title shot? Oh, it's different for the women. Is it? That's what we're going to say. Like, what the fuck are we doing? Doesn't make any sense. Closing out the Bloodline angle at the end. When the Bloodline stuff is done right, it is absolute fucking cinema. And we've had a lot of fucking cinematic moments delivered from the Bloodline. More than anything else we've ever had in wrestling. And that fucking fat hillbilly fuck, Conrad Thompson, sits there and turns around and says, oh, well, you could put anybody in Roman Reigns' place. Well, no, you fucking couldn't, you fat fuck. No, you couldn't. You couldn't put fucking Bob Holly in his spot and Zack Ryder in his spot. Some of the other bullshit that he was spouting out this week when he spoke to JBL. And by the way, he was so happy. This fucking dickhead was so happy that he was picked up by so many dirt sheets that he made sure that he spoke about it with all of the people he does podcasts with. He said to JR, hey, JR, I got picked up. I caused some controversy this week. Hey, JBL, I caused some controversy this week. Hey, Double J, I caused some controversy this week. He couldn't fucking stop talking about himself, the fat fuck. But yeah, that's what he did. He brought it up on every single show. He tried to double down on his point, but his point doesn't fucking mean anything. And here's why. Let me try to articulate it a little bit more effectively, as opposed to just kind of blindly chucking out numbers. I'm not going to go down the whole path of, well, Roman's had this many WrestleManias and the TKO stock is at this price, because what he's being attacked for, more so than anything by Conrad Thompson, is that he didn't get over initially and we were booing him, and he put him next to Paul Heyman and suddenly he's over and he's giving all of the credit to Heyman, all of the credit to Sami Zayn, etc., etc., etc. When you look at last night, the way that Solo got that response was not through attacking Jimmy or Jay or Jacob. It was to go for Roman Reigns because of the aura that the tribal chief has. And that would not be the same had it been Zack Ryder or Bob Holly, like this fucking obese lump of lard is trying to tell you. But to defend Roman Reigns for the period that Conrad is talking about and using as his main reason to attack Roman Reigns, I want to make one thing very, very clear. Roman Reigns and his push, whilst some of the lines were not good, some of the scripting was not good, there were signs there that Vince McMahon was definitely losing his touch because Roman Reigns didn't quite have it. I'm not going to say that he had it like he has it now, but he was a victim of John Cena. John Cena was a victim of Stone Cold Steve Austin, but Stone Cold Steve Austin was a beneficiary of Hulk Hogan. Now, let me explain what that means. Steve Austin benefited from Hulk Hogan because the Hulk Hogan act was becoming stale. Hulk Hogan ran that act all the way up until the point where people didn't want to see it anymore. Hulkamania was running out of gas in 1992. It got refueled and went back onto WCW. I mean, it came back on WWE in 93. He won the belt at WrestleMania 9, but it wasn't quite the same. There was a little bit of juice left when he went to WCW, but he was getting booed there relatively quickly. In fact, for a full year before they decided to turn him heel. People were tired of the training and the prayers and the vitamins, especially when it was exposed that some of the vitamins he was doing were anabolic fucking steroids. And the whole Arsenio Hall incident and everything didn't help Hulk Hogan at all. He lost his place in Hollywood because he was getting movies, albeit not great movies. Suburban Commando, Mr. Nanny, No Holds Barred. Are they fucking 9 out of 10 movies? No. Are easy to watch, for sure, because especially if you're a Hulk Hogan mark like me. But ultimately, Hulk Hogan ran Hulkamania to the end, and we were ready. Everybody was ready for something else. Because Hulk Hogan ran it all the way through, ran it to its death, people were ready for the next babyface to be completely different to Hulk Hogan. And Stone Cold Steve Austin was completely different to Hulk Hogan. He benefited from the fact that people were sick of the train, say your prayers, eat your vitamins, white meat babyface. They wanted something different. It was at a time where punk rock was massive. You had like Nirvana at the time. You had South Park. All of these fucking grunge bands were coming through. Hip hop was coming through. The 90s was an incredible time for rebels, and Steve Austin was the rebel that wrestling needed to replace Hulk Hogan, the white meat babyface that we were bored of, and bored of way before he actually went heel. So Steve Austin was the beneficiary of Hulk Hogan. Now, by the time we got to 2002, 2003, people weren't sick of Stone Cold Steve Austin because Stone Cold Steve Austin only won the WWE Championship for the first time in 1998. By the time Steve Austin turned heel in 2001, people didn't want Steve Austin to turn heel. And if Steve Austin was going to turn heel, his replacement was there. They wanted The Rock to be the top guy. And they wanted it to be more of Steve Austin, more of that rebellious kind of babyface. And that's what The Rock was. Know your role, shut your mouth. If you smell what The Rock is cooking, it doesn't matter what you say. Like, how all of that was more of the same. It was more of the type of archetypal babyface that Austin was, as opposed to the white meat babyface creation that Vince McMahon made back in the 80s with Hulk Hogan. So they were ready to go from Austin to the next Austin. They were not ready to go from Austin to having The Rock for a very short time before he went to Hollywood, to trying to create Brock Lesnar and Randy Orton, and eventually landing on John Cena and going straight back to creating the next Hulk Hogan. Well, we don't want the next Hulk Hogan. We still want Steve Austin. We still want the Attitude Era. We want the Ruthless Aggression Era to be the Attitude Era. So they were always more so supportive of the likes of a Randy Orton, a Batista. They wanted people like Rob Van Dam to be pushed because they were more rebellious in terms of the way that they came across. They also had the old guard there. They were still cheering for Triple H, Undertaker, Shawn Michaels, faces from the Attitude Era, which they were not ready to let go of. The Ruthless Aggression Era was basically a combination. It was the period that tied together the Attitude Era and the PG era. But John Cena was the face of the new era. John Cena was the face of phasing you out of an era you didn't want to leave. You were going from the Attitude Era to the PG era. Ruthless Aggression was just in the middle. And John Cena was the face of the phase out. And people didn't like that. And that's why he was booed. And instead of then finding your rebellious babyface, which you now have, which is what Roman Reigns has been. And it is confusing with the bloodline as well, I will say. Like, who's a fucking babyface? Who's a heel? The Usos are acting as heels this week. Next week, that cunt will be yeeting in the crowd, trying to sell fucking sunglasses and T-shirts. So what are we doing? Like, is Roman a heel or is he a face? Is Jimmy and Jay heels or faces? Like, what are we doing? But I digress. Roman Reigns was more a case of, let's carry on with John Cena. And people were still like, no, we still want Stone Cold Steve Austin. And that has pretty much been the case since we moved on from Austin to Rock for a short period and then to John Cena. It's been 50-50. And when we were looking for somebody to replace Cena through the entire time, WrestleMania after WrestleMania, SummerSlam after SummerSlam, we wanted him to get beaten. We cheered for Rob Van Dam. We cheered for Edge. We cheered for all the fucking Cena's opponents because we just wanted something different, something that represented us in our going from our teenage years to our 20s to our 30s. And more so what we wanted was that Attitude Era superstar, which we never got again. But the Tribal Chief is more so that guy than the Big Dog was. And definitely more so than John Cena was. Which is why he's connected with the audience. So for Conrad Thompson to sit there and say, oh, he didn't get over. Well, he's a Vince McMahon creation. It's what Vince McMahon wanted his babyface to be. He's not going to get over. Because he's not going to get fully over. Because John Cena never got fully over. Because John Cena was a victim of Stone Cold Steve Austin. And Roman Reigns was a victim of John Cena. But Stone Cold Steve Austin was the beneficiary of the timing of us being sick of Hulk Hogan. And the timing from moving from Austin to Cena was not something that the fans wanted. And when we were begging for people to replace Cena, the guy that we didn't want to replace Cena was Roman Reigns, another clean version of Cena. That's what all of that is. The Tribal Chief is not that. The Tribal Chief is the type of person who kind of takes us back to that Stone Cold Steve Austin, those Stone Cold Steve Austin times where you have a rebellious babyface who isn't trying to do the good guy thing to get cheered. He just gets cheered because he's cool. And that's what Roman Reigns has been, or at least that's what he evolved in. I mean, throughout most of his run, he was obviously a clear heel in 2021 and 2022, but the Bloodline did become the most popular act. By the time Sami was added to it, by the time Roman lost the belt, you could not boo Roman Reigns. Roman Reigns was not getting booed. And then when he returned at SummerSlam 2024, he has been that rebellious tweener babyface that Stone Cold Steve Austin was. And that is what people want. And that is what people will continue to want. So it's interesting to see who becomes the face of the company, what they do, how they book a Bron Breakker, an Obafemi, or whoever it's going to be after Roman. We've seen it hasn't worked with Cody because Cody was another iteration of John Cena. That hasn't worked. It never was going to. So I think when the viewership, this is another thing people don't understand. When the viewership only goes up in age, it's the same fucking people watching. You are not getting teenagers to watch this show. You are not attracting new teenagers. You are not attracting 20-year-olds. You're not even getting new 30-year-olds. The audience is going up. The average age of the wrestling audience goes up every single year. So taste won't change. They're still now attached to the rebellious babyface. That's what they want. When they were kids, they had Hulk Hogan. When they were teenagers, they had Stone Cold Steve Austin. When they're 20s, they had John Cena, but they wanted Stone Cold Steve Austin. In their 30s, they had Roman Reigns, but they wanted Stone Cold Steve Austin. At least the Big Dog version. So that's how all that works. But Conrad Thompson is just too much of a fucking Roman Reigns hater to kind of work that out. So anyway, that's my show for today. It's been way too fucking long. I like to do 20, 25 minute shows, zip in, zip out. It's better for the fucking downloads. At 49 minutes, it's going to half my listens. Even though I put in twice the effort, I'm almost tempted to cut this up into a two-parter. What I'll do, in fact, is I won't post a show next week on this feed, but I will post on the Lock Betting feed the preview for, in fact, sorry, next week, it's not next week, Saturday nights or Sunday night's main event, it's the following week. So I will do a show next week, and the following week, the show will be a betting preview of Sunday night's main event, and that will be over on the Lock Betting podcast. So be sure to check that out. Of course, if you want to get all of my accurate news, head over to thedirtysheet.com. That's it for me. Thanks for listening, guys.